Adrian Kane had never expected anything extraordinary to happen to him. His life in the quiet city of New Haven was simple. Mornings spent at the small engineering firm, where he worked, evenings at home tinkering with gadgets and reading about space exploration. He liked things this way, predictable, safe, and filled with minor challenges he could solve with his mind. Yet, on a calm Wednesday afternoon, everything changed. It began with a soft hum in his apartment. Adrian looked up from his workbench, where he was repairing a drone, and frowned. The hum grew louder, more deliberate, almost musical. Before he could move, a shimmering blue light filled the room. Adrian shielded his eyes. When the light faded, standing in his living room was a figure unlike anything he had ever seen. The being was tall and elegant, with luminous silver skin and eyes that shifted color like the surface of a calm sea at sunset. Its voice was gentle but firm, speaking directly into his mind rather than his ears. Adrian Kane. It said, "You have been chosen to help save a world, and in return, you will be rewarded beyond your imagination." Adrian blinked. I think you have the wrong person. I'm just an engineer." The being's eyes seemed to twinkle with amusement. "It is precisely because you are human that you were chosen. Your creativity, persistence, and problem-solving are qualities rare even among advanced civilizations. Your skills can save my planet." Adrian's heart raced. He had always dreamed of space travel, of seeing the stars up close. But this was beyond anything he had imagined. "Your planet? You mean you're an alien?" The being inclined its head. "Yes, my name is Elith, emissary of Zithera. Our world faces a crisis, and we need a human mind to solve it. You are the one." Adrian laughed nervously. This sounds insane. How can I possibly help an alien planet?" "You will see," Elith said. "Time is short. Will you come with me?" Adrian hesitated. Every logical part of his mind screamed to say no, but curiosity, the kind that had driven him to study robotics and astrophysics in his spare time, overpowered fear. "All right," he said finally. "I'll go." In an instant, Adrian felt himself lifted off the ground. The apartment vanished around him, replaced by a swirling tunnel of lights and colors. The sensation was strange, weightless, as if he were floating in a river of stars. Time seemed to stretch and compress all at once. For the first time in his life, Adrian felt truly small and yet part of something immense. When the ride ended, he found himself on a platform high above a city that gleamed with light and motion. Towering structures made of crystal-like materials stretched toward the sky, and vehicles moved silently in the air. It was a city of beauty beyond imagination, where technology and art merged seamlessly. Elith led him through the streets to a vast palace at the city's center. "This is where our royal family resides," Elith explained. "Our princess will meet you. She will guide you in creating the device that can stabilize our planet's failing energy core." Adrian followed, marveling at the technology around him. Screens hovered in the air without support, robots moved with grace and intelligence, and the citizens he passed stared at him with curiosity, not fear. It was as if humans had never existed here, yet somehow, his presence was expected. Finally, they entered a large chamber where a young figure awaited. Princess Leora was unlike anyone Adrian had seen. Her hair shimmered like liquid silver, her eyes glowed faintly with soft blue light, and her presence commanded attention without a word. "Adrian Kane," she said, her voice melodic and calm, yet carrying authority. "Elith has spoken of you. I trust your mind is ready for the task ahead." Adrian bowed slightly, unsure what else to do. "I'll do my best," he said, "but I've never worked on, well, anything like what you're describing." Leora smiled faintly, almost wistfully. "That is why you were chosen. Sometimes, a fresh perspective is all a civilization needs. We have grown skilled in many things, but we have lost the ability to see beyond our own experience." Over the next few hours, Adrian was introduced to Zitheran technology, a level far beyond anything on Earth. The energy core, a massive crystalline structure pulsing with light, was unstable. Without intervention, the planet's cities could experience catastrophic blackouts, and eventually, the planet could suffer ecological collapse. Adrian listened carefully, absorbing every detail. He realized that while the technology was advanced, it relied on logic, patterns, and creative problem-solving, exactly the kind of thinking humans excelled at. He was no longer an engineer on Earth. He was now a pioneer, someone whose ideas could change the fate of an entire world. As days passed, Adrian worked closely with Leora. They spent long hours in the laboratory, testing energy converters, adjusting stabilizers, and experimenting with new alloys that could withstand extreme energy fluctuations. he noticed something remarkable. Leora was not just a princess in title, she was brilliant, inquisitive, and deeply compassionate. She questioned him, debated his ideas, and pushed him to think harder. In turn, Adrian admired her courage and determination. One evening, after a particularly grueling session of calculations and simulations, they stepped onto the balcony overlooking the city. The twin moons of Zithra cast silver light across the crystalline towers, and the wind carried a gentle hum that resonated with the energy of the planet itself. "You've changed the way I see my world," Leora said softly. "Before you arrived, I thought we had explored every possibility. You've shown me that even a human mind can illuminate paths we never imagined." Adrian smiled, feeling a warmth he had never experienced. "I'm just trying to help, but I never expected to feel this connection with someone from another world." Leora looked at him, her eyes reflecting the moons. "Perhaps the universe has a way of bringing together those who can shape the future. You are far more than a guest here, Adrian. You are a partner in our survival." The days turned into weeks. Adrian's work progressed steadily, and the bond between him and Leora grew stronger. He found himself laughing more, thinking more creatively, and seeing the universe in a way he never had on Earth. Yet, amid the excitement and success, a quiet worry lingered. He could not shake the feeling that the adventure had only begun, and that challenges far greater than stabilizing a planet awaited him. Then came the message from the council, delivered with grave solemnity. Adrian was to be rewarded for his contributions, but the full scope of the reward, they said, could not be revealed until the device was fully operational and the planet secure. Curiosity, excitement, and apprehension twisted together in Adrian's chest. The final test arrived on a day that seemed ordinary at first. Adrian and Leora activated the energy stabilizer, and the core responded immediately. Cracks of unstable energy vanished, replaced by a steady glow that pulsed in harmony with Zithra itself. The city erupted in celebration. Citizens cheered, ships flew overhead in graceful loops, and the twin moons seemed to shine brighter. Adrian felt a surge of pride. He had saved a world. But as he turned to share the moment with Leora, he realized she was looking past him, toward the horizon. Her expression shadowed. "What is it?" he asked. Leora shook her head gently. "Nothing yet. There are still matters that I cannot control. But for now, your work is complete. You have done what no human has ever done." Adrian felt a thrill of accomplishment, mixed with a sense of unease. He knew, deep down, that this was only the first chapter of something far larger. As night fell over Zithra, he looked up at the stars and wondered what awaited him beyond this world, and whether the bond he had formed with the alien princess would survive the mysteries yet to come.
The days following the stabilization of Zithra's energy core were filled with celebration. The city shimmered with life and light, the citizens of Zithra moving with a renewed energy and joy. Adrian Kane, the human who had defied expectations and saved an alien world, was celebrated as a hero. His name appeared across floating holographic displays in the city's main squares, and Zithrans from all walks of life greeted him with admiration and gratitude. Yet, for all the excitement, Adrian felt an unease he could not shake. The technology of Zithra was still foreign to him, and the political currents beneath the surface of this beautiful world were invisible but palpable. Princess Leora seemed increasingly distant, her smile tinged with worry despite the celebrations. Adrian suspected that whatever burden she carried was heavier than she let on. One morning he was summoned to the council hall, a towering structure of crystalline light that seemed to hum with the energy of the planet itself. The hall was vast, with thousands of seats arranged in a semicircle, each occupied by a member of Zithra's ruling council. At the center, a raised platform held the Empress and several senior advisors. "Adrian Kane," the Empress began, her voice resonant and commanding, "you have done what no other being in Zithran history could. You have saved our planet from catastrophe. Your ingenuity has restored hope to our people. For this you shall be rewarded." Adrian bowed. I didn't expect anything, Your Majesty. I just did what I could." The Empress smiled, a rare, warm gesture. "Your humility honors you, human. Yet your reward is substantial. You will inherit shares in Zithra's technological patents and resources. You will have wealth beyond any human's imagining. But understand this, there are conditions. Your work must continue to benefit both Zithra and Earth. And some matters require discretion." Adrian's mind raced. Wealth beyond imagining? He had never even considered that possibility. But he could sense the subtle weight in the Empress's words. There was more here than mere fortune. He nodded. I understand. The council presented him with a crystalline device, small but intricate, which represented his share in Zitharan technology. It glowed softly in his hand, its value immeasurable by human standards. He marveled at the craftsmanship, understanding that this was a treasure of knowledge and power. As the ceremony ended, Leora approached him. "Adrian," she said quietly, "I am proud of what you have accomplished. But you must know this inheritance is not the final step. There are forces here that may not welcome your presence among our people. You must be cautious." Adrian frowned. "I don't understand. Everyone seems happy. Why would anyone oppose me?" Leora's eyes softened, yet there was a sadness in them. "Zitharan laws are ancient. Some members of the council fear the influence of humans. They worry that your presence will alter the balance of power. Your reward, it is conditional." Adrian's excitement dimmed slightly. "Conditional? What did that mean?" "Conditional on what?" he asked. "On me," Leora said simply. "I must approve of your inheritance. Without my consent, the council's decision cannot fully take effect." The word struck Adrian harder than he expected. He had worked tirelessly, risked his life, and changed the fate of a planet, and yet his reward depended on her alone. He wanted to protest, but he trusted her judgment and did not want to complicate matters further. Over the next few days, Adrian continued his work on Zithara, helping fine-tune the planet's energy systems and introducing ideas that improved efficiency. Leora often worked alongside him, their partnership growing stronger. Yet Adrian noticed subtle changes in her behavior. She became quieter, more secretive, and spent long hours away from the lab. When he asked, she brushed off his concerns with vague explanations about political duties and council matters. Then, one evening, everything changed. Adrian returned from a late night of calculations to find Leora gone from the palace. Her quarters were untouched. No signs of struggle, nothing to indicate where she might have gone. The guards and attendants seemed confused but offered no answers beyond, "Her Highness is on a private mission." Adrian's heart pounded. "A mission? What mission?" he demanded. No one could tell him. Frustrated, he tried to contact her through the communication devices they had used, but they were silent. It was as if she had vanished completely. Panic and fear gripped him. Something was wrong. He had risked everything to help Zithara, and now the person he trusted most and the key to his inheritance was gone. Days turned into a week, and still there was no word from Leora. Adrian received messages from the council, congratulating him again on his achievements and reminding him that his reward was pending approval. But without Leora's consent, the inheritance could not be fully granted. Adrian began to feel the weight of betrayal, though he could not believe Leora would willingly abandon him. Unable to wait any longer, Adrian sought answers from Aelith, the emissary who had brought him to Zithara. "She left voluntarily," Aelith said quietly, avoiding his gaze. "But it is not a betrayal of trust. There are matters of law and safety that even I cannot fully explain. The council feared what might happen if she remained here with you." Adrian's frustration boiled over. So all of this, the wealth, the honor, the reward, it was meaningless without her. Aelith shook its head. "It is not meaningless, Adrian. You have accomplished something remarkable, but Zithara is complicated. There are forces at work that you cannot yet see. You must be patient and cautious." Patience felt impossible. Adrian wanted to demand answers, to confront the council, to search for Leora. Yet he realized that for now, he had no choice but to continue his work and hope for guidance. He retreated to his quarters, a mixture of anger, sorrow, and determination swirling inside him. The reward he had been promised seemed distant and hollow. More than wealth, he had wanted her. Her presence, her partnership, the connection they had formed while saving Zithara. And now she was gone. Despite the despair, Adrian refused to give up. He poured himself into his work, refining the designs he had created, documenting every innovation and learning more about Zitharan systems than any human had ever known. He realized that even without the full inheritance, he had gained something invaluable: knowledge, experience, and a glimpse of what humanity could achieve when faced with extraordinary challenges. One evening, while reviewing energy simulations, Adrian noticed a subtle pattern he had not seen before. It was a minor fluctuation in the energy core, not dangerous yet, but curious. He realized that this could be a clue about why Leora had vanished. Perhaps she had gone to address this issue, or perhaps someone else had taken her. Either way, it was a thread he could follow, a beginning to uncover the truth. Determined, Adrian began preparing for a journey that would take him beyond Zithera. He studied Zitheran maps, learned about the Council's secret factions, and familiarized himself with advanced technology that would allow him to travel between worlds. Every day he trained his mind and body, honing the skills that had brought him this far. Then a message arrived, encrypted and indirect. It was from Leora, a single phrase: "I cannot return with you. Trust no one. Protect what you have learned. The inheritance is yours only if you are careful." Adrian read the message over and over. The words were cryptic, yet they carried a warning and a hope. She was alive and she wanted him to succeed, but someone or something was working against them. Anger, sadness, and determination mixed inside him. He had lost Leora temporarily, and his inheritance was at risk, but Adrian Kane was not a man to surrender. He understood that to survive the challenges ahead, he would need more than intelligence. He would need courage, strategy, and the ability to navigate dangers both human and alien. That night, Adrian stood on the balcony of the palace, gazing at the twin moons of Zithera. The city below glowed with life, but his thoughts were far away, tracing invisible paths between worlds, imagining the journey he must undertake to find Leora and secure his rightful place. He felt the weight of responsibility and the thrill of possibility. For the first time, Adrian Kane understood that saving a world was only the beginning. To reclaim what he had earned and the person he had come to care for, he would need to become more than a hero. He would need to become a force capable of bridging worlds, overcoming obstacles no human had ever faced, and proving that humanity's potential extended far beyond the limits of Earth. As the stars twinkled above Zithera, Adrian whispered to himself a vow stronger than any fear: "I will find her. I will claim what is mine. And I will show the universe what humans are truly capable of." The journey had only begun. Adrian Kane returned to Earth with a mixture of triumph and emptiness. The streets of New Haven seemed smaller than he remembered, the familiar skyline muted compared to the brilliance of Zithera. In just a few weeks, his life had changed completely. He was now a billionaire, owner of technology that could revolutionize human civilization. Yet despite the fortune, his mind kept returning to one thought: Leora was gone. The first few days after his return were surreal. Reporters, journalists, and news channels swarmed his modest apartment, eager to interview the human who had saved an alien world. Holographic displays in every city screen carried images of his face, celebrating his genius and bravery. Governments sent letters of recognition. Corporations offered partnerships and funding. Every door opened to him, yet Adrian felt hollow. The accolades were meaningless without Leora beside him. He set up a temporary office in New Haven, attempting to adapt Zitheran technology for Earth applications. The devices were elegant and powerful, far beyond human understanding, but he quickly realized that the knowledge came with responsibility. Zitheran systems were delicate. Improper use could result in catastrophic failures. Adrian worked tirelessly, learning the subtleties of alien design, trying to unlock the full potential of the gifts he had received. At night, however, he could not escape the lingering feeling that Zithera had changed him, not just in opportunity but physically and mentally. His senses were sharper. He noticed patterns in city traffic, subtle energy flows in machinery, and even the emotions of those around him seemed clearer. It was subtle but unmistakable. He understood with growing certainty that exposure to Zitheran technology had altered his mind in ways that no human could fully comprehend. Still, the wealth was real. Corporations sought his consultation. Investors wanted his insight. Governments considered him a strategic asset. Despite the promise of riches, Adrian felt a tension he could not ignore. The Zitheran message about caution and secrecy echoed in his mind. Someone, or some group, was aware of his new position and wanted to claim it for themselves. Within days, Adrian realized he was being watched. He noticed unfamiliar vehicles near his apartment, strangers lingering in cafes he frequented, and subtle patterns that suggested surveillance. The thought unsettled him, yet he also felt exhilaration. For the first time in his life, he was not just an ordinary human. He was a player in a game that stretched across worlds. Determined to protect himself and the secrets of Zithera, Adrian began to build defenses. He developed security systems combining human and alien technology, designed drones to patrol his property, and coded algorithms that could detect potential threats before they materialized. Every move required careful thought. Every decision carried stakes beyond mere money or fame. Even as he adapted to life on Earth, Adrian could not escape memories of Zithera. He remembered Leora's warnings and her cryptic message, "I cannot return with you. Trust no one. Protect what you have learned. The inheritance is yours only if you are careful." Her words weighed heavily on him, a constant reminder that his journey was far from over. Weeks passed, and Adrian began to test some of Zitheran technology on a small scale. He experimented with energy systems capable of powering entire neighborhoods with minimal resources, and with communication devices that could transmit signals across vast distances without delay. Each experiment revealed the depth of human potential when combined with alien knowledge. Humanity was capable of greatness, he realized, and he could be the one to lead the way. Yet the question of Leora remained unanswered. He tried sending encrypted messages through channels that might reach Zithera, but received nothing in response. The thought that she had been captured, or worse, haunted him. Adrian knew he could not rely solely on Earth. If he wanted to reunite with her, he would need to return to the stars. But before that, he had to secure his position and understand the full extent of what he had inherited. One evening, as he reviewed Zitheran schematics in his office, a subtle anomaly caught his attention. Tiny fluctuations in energy readings, almost imperceptible, suggested that someone on Zithera, or elsewhere, was manipulating the systems. It was a warning sign, subtle but clear to a mind trained in alien technology. Adrian realized that the challenges Leora had hinted at were not idle threats. They were real, immediate, and dangerous. He decided to reach out to old colleagues and trusted friends on Earth, forming a small team of engineers, programmers, and scientists. They were skeptical at first, but Adrian's insights, informed by Zitheran technology, were convincing. Together, they began testing innovations that could revolutionize transportation, energy, and communication on Earth. Adrian was careful, sharing only what was necessary, protecting the most sensitive knowledge that could be exploited by those who sought to take his inheritance. Despite his focus on work, Adrian's thoughts frequently returned to the stars. He built a private observatory, studied star maps, and planned routes to Zithera. He realized that the journey would not be simple. Interstellar travel required not only advanced technology, but understanding alien customs, laws, and dangers. His mind raced with calculations, simulations, and possibilities. Humanity had survived by thinking creatively, and Adrian intended to prove that human ingenuity could match any alien civilization. Then came the first serious threat. One night, as Adrian left his office, he noticed shadows moving near the perimeter of his building. Within minutes, he identified unauthorized drones, machines capable of surveillance and potential sabotage. He quickly activated defense systems, disabling the devices without causing alarm to the city below. It was a reminder: wealth, knowledge, and skill were not enough. Vigilance was essential. Adrian realized that Zitheran technology had not only gifted him with wealth and insight, but also with responsibility. Every action had consequences, and every secret was a potential target. He began training himself physically as well as mentally, learning martial arts and strategic thinking, preparing for situations where intellect alone might not suffice. Humanity's adaptability and resilience were his greatest assets, he realized, and he intended to use them fully. Days turned into months. Adrian's innovations began to influence Earth in small but meaningful ways. Energy grids became more efficient, communication systems faster, and transportation networks smoother. People marveled at the changes, though few understood the source of his knowledge. Adrian found satisfaction in progress, yet his ultimate goal remained: finding Leora and ensuring that the Zitheran inheritance could be fully realized. Amid his work, Adrian encountered human greed and jealousy. Corporations attempted to lure him with offers far beyond his current wealth. Governments sought access to his knowledge for military purposes. Rivals tried to undermine him, spreading rumors and creating obstacles. Adrian navigated these challenges with patience, using his mind, strategy, and Zitharan insights to protect both his innovations and his safety. Despite the successes, Adrian never forgot Leora. At night, he would stare at the sky, imagining her among the stars, wondering if she was safe, and hoping she had not forgotten him. He replayed every conversation, every shared moment on Zithara, trying to decipher her cryptic warnings. Each memory fueled his determination, reminding him why he could not give up, why he could not settle for wealth alone. Then, an unexpected signal reached his private observatory, an encrypted transmission, unlike anything Earth technology could produce. Adrian decoded it carefully, revealing a fragment of a message from Zithara. It was incomplete, but enough to confirm that Leora was alive and facing challenges beyond his current understanding. A surge of hope and urgency filled him. He now had direction, to prepare fully to understand both human and alien systems, and to chart a course back to the stars. Adrian Kane understood a profound truth. Humans were capable of extraordinary things, not because of strength or numbers, but because of creativity, determination, and adaptability. Zitharan technology had amplified these qualities within him, but it was his human mind that would guide him through the challenges ahead. He was not just a billionaire. He was a bridge between worlds, a living proof that humanity could thrive among the stars. By the end of the year, Adrian had transformed his Earth operations into a sophisticated hub of innovation. He had secured his wealth, protected his knowledge, and prepared the foundations for interstellar travel. Yet despite these accomplishments, he remained restless. Leora's absence was a wound he could not ignore, and her cryptic warnings haunted him. He knew that true success would not come from wealth or inventions alone. It would come from reuniting with her, uncovering the mysteries of Zitharan politics, and proving that humans could rise to any challenge, no matter how vast the universe. As Adrian looked out over New Haven one evening, the stars above shining brightly, he made a silent vow. He would return to Zithara, face whatever dangers awaited him, and find Leora. He would claim the inheritance that had been promised and ensure that human ingenuity proved its worth across the cosmos. The journey had taken him from a quiet life on Earth to the heart of an alien civilization, and it was only the beginning. Adrian Kane, changed forever, stood ready to embrace the stars. Adrian Kane had spent months preparing for this moment. Earth had been generous in its gifts, resources, loyal allies, and a stable base to launch from. Yet the pull of Zithara and of Leora tugged at him stronger than any ambition or curiosity. The encrypted messages and subtle energy fluctuations he had detected from Zithara hinted at dangers he could not yet comprehend. He stood aboard the prototype starship he had built using a fusion of Earth, engineering, and Zitharan technology. Its hull shimmered with energy-absorbing alloys, and its navigation system could calculate routes across light years with precision. Adrian had designed it himself, combining human ingenuity with alien enhancements. Every panel, every system reflected countless hours of work, simulations, and adjustments. The day of departure arrived. Adrian's team of Earth engineers and scientists gathered to see him off, a mix of awe and concern on their faces. He addressed them calmly. "This journey is not just mine. It is a step toward understanding what humanity is capable of. I may face dangers we cannot predict, but I will not stop until I find answers." And Leora. The launch was flawless. Adrian watched as Earth shrank beneath him, the familiar blues and greens fading into the infinite black of space. Zithara lay ahead, a destination both familiar and mysterious. His mind raced with possibilities. Political intrigue, hostile factions, and perhaps even natural hazards unique to alien worlds. Yet he also felt confidence. Humans had survived impossible odds before, and he was a perfect example of human adaptability. The journey through interstellar space was not without challenges. Adrian navigated asteroid fields that threatened to tear the ship apart, magnetic storms that disrupted communications, and subtle gravitational anomalies that could misdirect navigation systems. Every obstacle required creative solutions combining both human intuition and Zitharan logic. Each success reinforced a lesson he had learned long ago. Humans could innovate under pressure better than almost any species he had encountered. As he approached Zithara's system, Adrian detected unauthorized energy signatures. clandestine transmissions, and encrypted activity. Someone was trying to track him. Using stealth algorithms from Zither Tech, he masked his ship and plotted a new course, one that would bring him closer to Leora without attracting attention. The stakes were high. Every decision carried potential life or death consequences. Finally, he arrived at a hidden colony world far from Zithra's central cities. It was rugged, with jagged mountains and dense forests, unlike the crystalline elegance of the capital. Adrian felt a mixture of relief and tension. Leora was close, but so were the dangers she had warned him about. He landed the ship in a concealed valley and stepped out into the alien environment. The air was breathable, but rich with scents and sounds entirely foreign. Small creatures scurried among glowing plants, and distant rivers shimmered with luminescent minerals. Adrian moved cautiously, scanning for signs of Leora or potential threats. Hours passed with no sign of her. Then finally he found a trail, a subtle disturbance in the environment that suggested intelligent movement. Following it, he entered a hidden compound, guarded by both natural defenses and technological barriers. Using his knowledge of Zither systems, Adrian bypassed the security measures, careful not to trigger alarms. Inside, he discovered a small group of alien scientists and engineers. At first, they regarded him with suspicion, weapons and defensive systems at the ready. Adrian raised his hands in a universal gesture of peace. "I am Adrian Kane. I come for Princess Leora. I mean no harm." The aliens hesitated. Then a familiar figure stepped forward. Leora. Her hair shimmered with silver light, her eyes focused and intense. She looked both relieved and wary. "Adrian," she whispered, a mixture of emotion in her voice. "You came," he stepped closer. "I promised I would. Where have you been? Why didn't you return with me?" Leora explained the truth. After the events in the capital, a faction of Zithran leaders had opposed her actions. They believed her alliance with a human could destabilize their society. To protect both him and Zithra, she had gone into hiding, continuing to safeguard critical resources and prevent political sabotage. Adrian listened carefully, understanding that their enemies were clever and persistent. Yet every word Leora spoke confirmed what he had suspected. She was alive, intelligent, and as committed as he was to protecting both worlds. Their reunion was brief but heartfelt, and both felt a renewed determination to act. Together, they devised a plan. Adrian's starship could transport them and a team of loyal Zithran engineers to key locations, stabilizing systems targeted by hostile factions. They would need to move quickly, combining stealth strategy and the ingenuity of both humans and Zithrans. Each mission would test Adrian's skills and adaptability. As they traveled from world to world, Adrian faced alien mercenaries, environmental hazards, and political intrigues. Each challenge forced him to innovate. On a desert planet, he designed a mobile shield generator to protect their team from sandstorms and energy weapons. On an ocean world, he used Zithran energy converters to stabilize underwater bases and prevent catastrophic flooding. Each success demonstrated the power of human problem-solving, amplified by technology. During moments of quiet, Adrian and Leora shared memories of Zithra, reflecting on the partnership that had formed between them. Their bond strengthened with every shared challenge. Adrian realized that humans and aliens could achieve far more together than apart. The journey also revealed truths about Zithran politics. Factions were divided between those who feared human influence and those who admired it. Adrian learned to navigate these complex dynamics, using diplomacy as much as ingenuity. Every choice could impact not only Leora's safety, but the future of Zithra and humanity's potential for interstellar collaboration. Finally, after months of travel, the final clue emerged. A hidden communication network indicated that Leora's safety and Zithra's critical resources depended on securing a distant energy facility. Failure could destabilize the planet again and place both worlds at risk. Adrian understood that this mission would be the ultimate test of everything he had learned. As they prepared, Adrian reflected on the journey. He had left Earth as a billionaire seeking answers, and in the process he had become more than that, a symbol of human ingenuity, courage, and determination. He had faced dangers that no human had faced before, yet every obstacle had reinforced the same lesson. Humanity could rise to any challenge if guided by creativity, persistence, and the desire to protect what mattered most. The stars stretched endlessly before them, a reminder of both danger and possibility. Adrian looked at Leora and smiled. "Let's finish this," he said. She nodded, and together, they launched toward the next stage of their journey, ready to confront enemies, overcome obstacles, and prove the strength of human potential in the cosmos. Adrian, Kane, and Princess Leora approached the distant energy facility with caution. It was a massive installation, partially hidden in a crater on a rocky moon, its surfaces glowing with the energy that powered a critical segment of Zithra's planetary network. The facility was protected by both natural defenses and sophisticated security systems designed to repel intruders. Adrian understood immediately that this would be their most dangerous mission yet. "Are you ready?" Leora asked, her eyes reflecting determination and concern. Adrian nodded. "We have come too far to stop now. We finish this together." They landed the starship a safe distance away, and Adrian deployed a series of stealth drones to scan the perimeter. The results were troubling. Multiple hostile factions had infiltrated the facility. The energy systems were being manipulated in ways that could destabilize Zithra's planet-wide network. Failure would not only endanger Leora, but could cause a cascade of catastrophic events across multiple colonies. Adrian and Leora devised a precise plan. Adrian would infiltrate the core control room and use his human insight, enhanced by Zithran technology, to stabilize the energy flow. Leora would coordinate a defense, guiding loyal engineers and neutralizing hostile interference. Timing, precision, and trust would be critical. As they entered the facility, alarms began to blare. Mercenary units controlled by the rival faction appeared in force. Adrian's heart raced, but his mind worked rapidly. Using a combination of stealth tactics and technological manipulation, he created diversions, rerouted energy flows, and neutralized security systems without causing permanent damage. Every action relied on both human creativity and Zithran knowledge. Meanwhile, Leora orchestrated the defense. Her strategic mind directed loyal Zithran engineers to block access points, reroute power, and protect critical nodes. The coordination between human and alien thinking proved powerful, demonstrating what they could achieve together. Adrian finally reached the control room. The main console pulsed erratically, indicating unstable energy surges. He analyzed the fluctuations, recalling patterns he had studied during his time on Zithra. Drawing on intuition, logic, and creativity, he recalibrated the system, stabilizing the core just as hostile units breached the entrance. Leora arrived, guiding the engineers to secure the room. She looked at Adrian with admiration. "You did it," she said, her voice filled with awe and relief. Adrian smiled, exhausted but exhilarated. "We did it," he corrected. The hostile forces, seeing their plans foiled, retreated. The energy facility stabilized, and the network that powered Zithra returned to normal. Across the planet, cities brightened, systems hummed smoothly, and the threat of catastrophe vanished. In the aftermath, Adrian and Leora had a quiet moment together. The tension and danger melted away, replaced by a shared sense of achievement and connection. Leora explained why she had vanished after his first visit to Zithra. She had acted to protect him, to safeguard her people, and to ensure that the inheritance could eventually be realized safely. Adrian understood now that every decision, every challenge, and every danger had been part of a larger test, not only of his skills but of his character. Humanity's potential was not measured by strength or numbers, but by creativity, courage, and the ability to solve problems in impossible situations. With the facility secured, Adrian's inheritance could finally be fully activated. Zithran resources, patents, and technology were legally and safely transferred to him, giving him the ability to use them for Earth and Zithra alike. Yet Adrian realized that wealth was no longer the most important outcome. What mattered most was the partnership he had formed with Leora, the trust between humans and Zithrans, and the potential for collaboration across worlds. Together, they returned to Zithra's capital. The council, impressed by Adrian's accomplishments and Leora's leadership, formally recognized the union of human ingenuity and Zithran wisdom. Adrian's name was honored, not merely as a billionaire, but as a symbol of what humans could achieve: courage, creativity, and determination in the face of unimaginable challenges. In the weeks that followed, Adrian and Leora worked to establish initiatives bridging Earth and Zithera. They created research centers, shared technology responsibly, and inspired collaboration between humans and aliens. Adrian's life had changed beyond recognition. He was wealthier than any human could imagine, wiser than he had ever been, and connected to a civilization far beyond the stars. Yet he never lost sight of the lessons learned during his journey, that humans were special, not for their power, but for their ingenuity, adaptability, and ability to rise to any challenge. And he never forgot Leora, whose brilliance and courage had inspired him every step of the way. As Adrian stood on the balcony of the palace, gazing at the twin moons of Zithera with Leora beside him, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had faced the unknown, conquered challenges no human had ever faced, and forged bonds that would endure across worlds. The stars above shimmered with endless possibilities, and Adrian Kane knew that humanity had a place among them. Together, he and Leora looked to the future, a future where humans and Zitherans worked as partners, where curiosity and courage were the guiding lights, and where every challenge was an opportunity to prove what humans could truly achieve. Adrian whispered softly, more to himself than anyone else, "The universe is vast, but we are capable, we are resilient, and we are just beginning." The adventure had ended, but the journey, the true journey of discovery, collaboration, and human potential, had only just begun.